Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News for this Tuesday, October 16. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. Education Minister Senator Ruel Reid has cautioned school administrators to manage their budgets wisely and not to place undue pressure on parents to plug shortfalls. Mr. Reid was addressing the recent conference of the Association of Principals and Vice Principals in St. James. He has been getting complaints from parents who are unable to pay for certain things at schools. TVJ's Shamela Pullen explains.
With so many families struggling financially, Education Minister Ruel Reid says the government has made efforts to give adequate funding to schools. He therefore told school administrators to carefully manage their budgets and pointed to some of the complaints he has been getting.
Their schools have come to us asking for critical repairs or expansion that have been supported. So I'm saying we can't go back to the stage where we are forcing the parents to make a contribution and then we lock the money up on fixed deposit, right? And then we, from the political, I have to put myself in a different context. I am now representing the political administration, that it creates social problems.
He says the ministry has received the budgets from all schools and they will be scrutinized. Mr. Reid reiterated the ministry's K-13 strategy to give every child an opportunity to learn. Interventions will begin at the earliest level, even before children enter the formal system.
We want to give every Jamaican child the best opportunity to maximize his or her potential through education, leaving the education system, everybody, no less than age 18, no less than grade 30, with the equivalent of an associate degree, or if you want to call it an occupational associate degree. That is what our program is.
Over the last few decades, the ministry has seen a drop in the number of students enrolled into primary and all-age schools.
In the 70s, we had 55,000 children per age cohort. We're now down to about 43,000. Last year, by the way, we were down to 36,000 births, but I think Zika was part of that reason. But in terms of an average, we are down to about 43. So that has freed up quite a bit of space within that sector, and indeed some resources.
That, he says, has made more resources available. Shamela Pullen, TVJ News.
Acting Medical Officer of Health Dr. Nadine Williams is assuring residents of Manchester that there is no dengue outbreak in the parish.
Just to remind you that dengue is endemic to Jamaica, that means we have cases of dengue year-round. And at this time, usually around August going up to March, we will see a rise in the number of cases. But so far, they are within a certain threshold. And so we would not classify that as an outbreak. It is not an outbreak. We're just seeing the usual trend in the increase of cases.
Dengue include high fever, rash, joint and muscle pain, loss of appetite and weakness.
So if they're experiencing any of these symptoms, they should seek medical attention as soon as possible, and of importance not to take any aspirin or ibuprofen. Panadol would be the best thing for the fever because you can have problems with bleeding if you take these other drugs.
The opposition spokesman on health is calling for full disclosure of the findings into the improper disposal of the bodies of 2 babies at the Kingston Public Hospital. In the meantime, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton responded, saying the information is confidential, so he is not sure if it can be made available. TVJ's Shamala Pullen reports.
In an interview with the Sunday Gleaner, Director of the Southeast Regional Health Authority, Dr. Patrice Charles Freeman, who led the investigations, said the probe found that one of the bodies had been at the morgue for more than 1 year. In addition, the bodies of the babies were stored in a manner that was not in keeping with standard operating procedures of the morgue. Many cases of procedural breaches were also detected. Opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Dayton Campbell, wants the findings to be made public.
On the face of it, there appears to have been either gross incompetence, negligence, or incompetence, because there are some simple breaches that have been committed that just administratively you could have avoided those from happening. And that's the reason why we have been adamant in saying that it is not fitting for SERA to be the ones investigating the matter when they're the ones who have responsibility for the management of the facility in the first place.
Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says he could not say at this time whether the findings of the SERA investigation will be made public, as there are some aspects of the report which contain confidential information. However, he says he has accepted the disturbing findings and is moving to have corrective measures put in place.
Also, I believe the freezers that are used to keep the bodies, that my understanding was that it was an appropriate piece of infrastructure, and I believe some measures have already commenced to replace that with a more appropriate freezer.
He says the health ministry is assessing other health facilities to ensure that a similar situation does not happen again.
One of the big breaches in the system has been the records, where records were just not properly kept, and therefore where breaches occurred in terms of accounting for the inventory or the bodies that were there, then those breaches would not be picked up because of the poor record keeping. So I know that they have moved swiftly to institute a much better record keeping arrangements.
Mela Pullen, TVJ News.
Some gas station operators are experiencing reduced sales as motorists cut back on petrol consumption amidst rising fuel prices. The Jamaica Gasoline Retailers Association says it doesn't have data for the entire island. However, its president Gregory Chung says several gas station operators have been reporting lower sales.
Some people believe that no matter where the price goes, people have to travel. But the truth is people have options, and the more significant the price is compared to your disposable income, the more decisions the decisions are made to say, look, I won't be traveling this weekend or I won't be moving around. So we've seen some areas of discretionary spending being cut, and we suspect that the regular traveler is going to be looking at different options to see how they can save money on fuel.
Mr. Chung says the association is very concerned.
Our motorists are feeling it, and these are our customers, so it affects our business. And with the prices trending up every week, we are concerned. So we know there is the oil is sourced. It's affected by world prices, but right here when it's $9,990 to fill up a tank, it's at a bad stage.
Vendors at the Falmouth Market are this afternoon fuming over the fees they say the Trelawney Municipal Corporation is charging them to use the facility. TVJ's Ashane Masters picks up that story.
Too much for too little. The complaints from vendors in the Falmouth Market in Trelawney, who say they have to pay an $8,000 deposit to use the facility but have little space to sell their wares.
$8,000 for a month. $8,000 for pay for a month for market pay. $2,000 a week. 3 days a week me can sell. It ain't too dear, man.
No, that me saying Ghana, China, go buy my container load. Me and 4 kids and a grandbaby for look after my old people. Look at this. This coming like a rubbish. And them here is very dear.
So how much money they charging
$3,000. And then I borrow the stall, and I borrow that stall and that stall. I have to pay $9,000. I don't pay it. Then I go take up my stuff them and carry go up at it. Up at the office.
A vendor who makes a trek from Kingston to sell on Wednesdays is questioning the rationale.
I have to be selling out a barrel. My goods pack up like a junkyard. I don't used to this. And the bathroom, I have to pay $100 each time I go there to use it. I have 6 barrels now. When December comes, I'll be having 10. I need a 15 by 15 because that's what I register for. This is stupidness. My stall downtown is bigger than this. And I pay $500 on a Monday, a Thursday, and a Saturday. For the week, I pay $1,500 on my stall fee. And my stall is bigger than this down there.
Mayor Colin Gager says measures were implemented to address those concerns. However, he notes that there are consequences if the deposit isn't paid.
You can either still choose to pay your $8,000 or you can go to $4,000 Or the third option, you can only pay your market fee. Once you pay your fee, pay your deposit, you have that spot forever. But if you don't, they are free to give your spot to someone else.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie says the addition of 3 new trucks will help improve garbage collection across the island. The trucks were officially handed over to the National Solid Waste Management Authority. They cost about $25 million each. A truck will be assigned to each of the 3 regions. The local government minister said that 9 additional trucks will be bought during this financial year.
By the end of this year, early January, an additional 12 trucks will complement the fleet, and by year-end 2019, we are looking at close to 50 brand new trucks for the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
Executive Director of the NSWMA, Audley Gordon, again appealed to residents to adopt practices that will help reduce garbage.
We would love to see less garbage, and so we appeal again to the country to help us with our campaign of reduce, reusing and recycling. We are producing garbage at a rate that is just out of this world. You will clean an area 1 o'clock, and by 2 o'clock, you wonder where so much garbage return come from in that area, because we are not practicing the reducing method. Neither are we practicing the containerization.
And in sports, Big Daddy Cool, in only his 2nd start of the season, sent a strong signal about his readiness for the Jamaica Super Stakes when he captured the feature Nigel B. Nunes Memorial Cup, going over 9 furlongs and 25 yards at Caymanas Park. And that's the Midday News. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Do remember to join us for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the entire team, good afternoon.